Despite having worked as a software engineer for 25 years, I did not major in engineering or computer science. When I came to the University of Iowa in 1990, my ambition was to become a doctor. I started as a biology major until my academic advisor told me I had to take 10 hours of botany to earn a degree. Not convinced that study of plants was relevant to a career in medicine, I switched my major to biochemistry. Then, I took a course in cognitive psychology and another in child development, and I realized I had found not only my major, but my passion. Psychology books were the ones I would read to pick me up after a long night of cramming calculus and genetics. My new academic advisor, an associate professor studying infant cognition, offered me a role as an undergraduate research assistant. I also worked as an undergrad teaching assistant for the director of the honors program, who was a pioneer in the field of decision neuroscience. And then, about the time I was planning for my senior research project and studying for the MCAT, life happened. I suffered a personal trauma that destroyed not only my confidence, but my sense of self. The effects would last for decades. What happened in the immediate aftermath is that I became so depressed that I would get up in the morning, shower, get dressed, and leave the dorm before my roommate did. Now, I know you're thinking, that sure sounds like someone with clinical depression. And no, it doesn't. Until you learn that as soon as I knew my roommate had left for nursing school, I would sneak back to our room, lie in bed a few more hours, and wander around campus or hide out in bookstores and libraries until evening when I pasted on a happy face before she came home. For some of my courses, I skipped basically every lecture and showed up only when I knew there was a quiz or exam. I did manage to graduate on time with a Bachelor of Science, though not with honors because I never finished my project. I am not proud of how I handled things that year. I dodged my advisor whenever she would ask how things were going, and eventually ghosted her when she phoned my dorm to check up on me. I was too ashamed to face her. Ashamed not only of having failed at the first serious undertaking of my adult life, but also of having let her down. That she might have come to care about me as a person and was calling to find out how and not merely what I was doing did not occur to me. Instead, after graduation, I went to work as a clerk for the VA Medical Center in Iowa City. Even though I wasn't doing what I trained for, working for VA gave me purpose and a reason to get out of bed each day. I was proud to be serving veterans who had served. My aunt was an Army nurse on the front lines in Europe during World War II. My dad joined her at age 18, enlisting in the Army Air Corps and then the Air Force Reserves. My grandfather was in the Army. My great aunt was a Red Cross nurse in World War I. My great great grandfather left his calling as a minister to serve in the Wisconsin Cavalry in the Civil War. It wasn't hard for me to find meaning in the work. After a brief stint as a supervisor, I became a specialist for VA's computerized patient record system. Because this was a teaching hospital, it wasn't remarkable to be a psych major working in a non-clinical role. My education was an asset when I began training medical students and residents in using CPRS. I knew the jargon and could help physicians apply the vast information in our database to make treatment decisions. Soon, I was collaborating with providers to customize their electronic order sets and progress notes, making delivery of care faster and less error-prone, improving outcomes for the patients we served. It wasn't until I started working in private sector that I realized my conviction that the principles of psychology have obvious applications in the workplace was met with some resistance.